Hey YouTube, Colorado Hunter Hiker here, coming to you with this week's Monday Essential Gear and Tips video. This is week 12 out of this 13-week series I'll be doing on small gear and essential gear for hunting, hiking, and backpacking. And this week I saved one of the two most important for last. Next week probably being most important, but this is something this week if you are hunting or hiking or backpacking in Colorado, this is probably pretty important. As any of you know that you spend any amount of time in Colorado in the backcountry, you know that our weather changes really quickly, and it can go from sunny to just absolute miserable, wet, cold, especially the higher you go in altitude. And all of these other things that we've gone through, essential, fire making, fire starting, cooking, things like that, become more and more difficult to do if your hands can't function. It is absolutely imperative that you keep your hands warm so that you can do things like make fire, get food, make a shelter, do things like that. Once your hands are cold, it goes downhill really quickly. So I'm going to tell you what I've found that works for me. In case you haven't noticed, there's kind of a hole right here. So I'm going to start off by telling you I apologize, but I've tried really hard not to talk about anything I don't have in front of you. I think that sometimes that makes you guys feel like, oh, I'm just making things up based on what I've read on the internet. I cannot for the life of me find my favorite pair of gloves. They are made by First Light. They are called the Talus fingerless gloves. They are advertised by First Light. Now, I don't get paid by First Light, so I want you guys to know that I don't get paid by any of these companies. I buy all this stuff on my own, so I don't want to get paid by any of them because I don't want you to think that I'm telling you things based on who's paying me. These gloves are advertised by First Light as you will never take them off, and they are just that for me. I put them on, especially for archery. I use them most in the archery season, but I put them on when I leave the truck, and really, maybe to go to sleep. I don't take them off ever. I will put gloves on top of them, but I won't take them off. So they're right here in theory. I don't know where the pair I have is, but I guess the bad news and good news, and maybe I knew I was going to lose them. I actually just ordered some more stuff from First Light, some of the new pants that they have, and a new jacket, and a new rain jacket, and another pair of those fingerless gloves, because they're awesome. So I did do a video on those one of these times. If you really want to know it, just go on my channel, and they're on there. It's got a picture of the gloves and a blaze orange beanie, so you can hear more about those there, but keep that in the back of your mind as you watch the rest of this video, that those are the gloves I would suggest everybody have. Even if you're just hiking for a day hike, just throw them in there. They're so light and they're so warm, and since they're fingerless, your dexterity's there. So moving on to gloves that I've tried that I didn't like are down here. These are the long range series. They're mostly scent control, so I think they're meant for more of like eastern, maybe whitetail hunting. I don't know, early season though. Even with liner, they just get soaked and they're really cold. They're not warm. Not a big fan of those. Next to that, you have these Winchesters here that, I mean, in theory, are great because you have all the dexterity you need, which is nice. And then in theory, you can put your hands in there and your thumb in there, and then you have a mitten. They're just not very warm. This is thin, as you can see. Air gets through there. These aren't very old, and they're not very good. So again, cheap gloves. You're gonna get what you pay for here. Moving up a little bit, and a pair of gloves that I really used quite a bit before I bought the Kuiu series and the First Light gloves that I have. Were these. I mean, they're just a liner. They have a kind of a tacky surface on them that they work pretty well for a liner glove, but they're not super warm, but they get the job done. Those get wet really quick and they don't dry very fast. So moving on to more what I've used for years and years and years, backpacking, where it's just a simple wool glove, that you can pretty much leave like this for the summer and use it. They do stay a little bit, there's less air that fits through there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but these are, if you're gonna just get a pair for hiking and backpacking, and you're not gonna spend the money on the Talus gloves, I'll put a link to these ones. I honestly can't remember what brand they are, but I've had them for so long. Great for just late season backpacking, not quite into archery season, but backpacking. Those are a good glove to just have sitting around. Then I'll actually tell you one more gloves that I don't have here because my hunting buddy has them, are the new mitt from First Light, and those are really warm. I'm going to do a separate video on those. For the purposes of today, that's probably a little overkill. They're more of a glassing glove, so if you have those and that's what you're looking to hear about, I'll do a separate video on those. Great glove. But so let's talk about the Kuiu series up here. First, you have the liner. This is a merino wool liner. It has little bumps on it, kind of like the Under Armour one. I've not used these very much, and I'll kind of go into that in a minute as to why I haven't used these very much. But in theory, with all of this stuff, these are a medium. All of these gloves are mediums, and they're designed so that you can buy whatever size fits you. So if you have one, you don't have to buy a small liner hoping that it'll cram into the other gloves. They're made to go inside each other. For instance, I'll do this. So here's your medium liner, and then the lightest glove that they have, that honestly I don't know that they're making anymore, partly because they've had some issues with this happening on the Velcro separating. So you have to be kind of careful. I've actually sent these back twice, so I think they've kind of figured out that this material is just really thin. It's that Tiburon series, so I don't know if you can see through there. Hopefully you can. It's checked so you can see through it. It's really, really breathable. These on their own are great for turkey. Still a leather palm, works out really well. As you can see, I've used these a bunch. I like these gloves a lot for anything hot weather. But you take your liner, you put it on the inside. As you can see, plenty of room. A medium fits me about perfect, but that's not to say that without the liner it doesn't fit. It fits perfect. I like them. But these I use all the time for turkey hunting, warm days, warm archery days, when you need full coverage, and you're not, you don't actually want just the dexterity of the fingerless gloves cut off. I don't wear these, frankly, alone ever. I just don't. I haven't. Moving up from those, from the Tiburon gloves in warmth, or moving down in temperature, but up in warmth, the guide gloves, again, don't confuse the guide gloves for an insulation piece. They're not. They're definitely cold weather gear, but they are not meant to. And this is actually the second generation guide gloves. As you can see, a little bit tighter to get in there, but again, same thing. You're gonna fit your glove, in there. Same goat leather, really good, good leather on them. The second generation wraps around the thumb a little more than the first generation guide glove, and this is a little bit different on them. Same thing, and I think actually the fingertips come up a little more. Great guide gloves, comfortable. Again, without the line underneath, same thing, fits really well. These are good for cooler second season rifle, when you need a little bit more warmth in the morning, but these are not glassing gloves. These are not going to keep you warm down into the snow and things like that. They're also not waterproof, so they get wet and heavy quickly. If you are looking at a good dexterity glove from Kuiu that is, again, same goat leather, good leather, look at the North Star. Great leather glove, great palm, same thing. Wraps over on the fingers, onto the thumb, wraps around well. Really good glove, good, well made, and it's got this. I can't even remember what it's called. Primaloft, yeah. So it's got synthetic insulation in it. It is, again, the medium is same size, just bigger glove. Really, really good glove as far as third season, second season when you finally get dumped on in snow like that. But still, you can still move your fingers. You could easily shoot with this. It's not too much bigger than your thumb or than your finger, which currently that finger's broken, so it's a little swollen anyway. But it's really not that big compared to that. So you could definitely shoot with it. Probably can't shoot a bow with it, but probably a little bit cooler than you're gonna want to be. Cuff goes, over your jacket. You can tighten it. Pretty easy to tighten. Just pull the cord, tightens up pretty well. Pull it, release it, works really well. Again, same thing. If you need the liner underneath, you could certainly wear the liner underneath. And extra temperature rating, just a little bit more warmth, a little bit tighter, but really still works perfect. I'm really happy with the KUIU gloves. That said, I really like the First Light gloves too. I'm a big fan of both of them. I want to try the Yukon Pro gloves. They're kind of, I think that one's kind of right in here, right in between your North Star and your guide gloves. A little more dexterity, a little shorter cuff. I think I'd like those. I'm going to give those a try here. And then on the very end of this, I have no experience with them, other than that they're filled with Super Down, or the Super Down glassing mitts. I have a Super Down jacket. I like it. It's light. They're warm. I just am not someone who sits in glasses that much that I need those. And if I do, I'll just take my First Light gloves. So, again, essential gear. Can't get much more essential than keeping your hands warm. Your toes are going to be your boots. We talked about how to keep your feet warm. But your hands, you really can't do much once they get cold. So I'm going to say definitely gloves for hunting, hiking, and backpacking are an essential piece of gear. I'll put links to all this stuff below. I'll also put a link to that Talus, fingerless Talus, First Light glove. Great glove. If you buy one glove this year, buy those, especially if you're an archery hunter, or if you're just backpacking in the spring. Buy them. You'll love them. They work great. I will do a separate review on those too. I know I've done it before, but I've spent enough time with those now that I will I will definitely take the time to make a video just on the fingerless Talus gloves, Taus gloves from First Light. Great stuff. I like the KUIU gloves. I really like the First Light gloves. So if you spend money on good gloves, they will last for a long time. I've had those guide gloves out for 4 seasons now. These are relatively new, and it hasn't been cold enough to use them, but these two I've had out for 4 seasons, maybe 5 seasons. Those are good working gloves that last for a long time. Same thing with the Talus gloves. Had those for a while. And like I said, I just bought another pair. So that's it for me. If you have comments or questions, go ahead and leave them below, and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Sure to check out our Facebook page and Instagram at Colorado Hunter Hiker. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel by clicking down here somewhere, or it will show up soon, the Hunter Hiker icon. Do all 3 just because I send out different things on different avenues, and keep in mind I can only control when the notifications come out on Instagram and Facebook. So YouTube kind of does its own thing, which is fine, but go ahead and subscribe there. But as always, if you have any questions or comments or anything you want to see in the future videos, please just let me know, and I'll get back with you. Thanks, guys and gals. Have a great day.